Let's build a Russian KV1 by a Trumpeter, and probably have a mental breakdown halfway through when I get to the tracks. Twice. So a couple of years ago, I got bought some scale models for Christmas. I'd never really done, other than when I was like a little kid and painted like airfix planes and stuff, never really done scale modelling. I've done 40k, I've done a lot of that, and I will be doing some on this channel. But I got bought a King Tiger by Revel, which I've built up. I'm pretty pleased with it, but I decided to pick up some more. I stream a game called Escape from Tarkov, and there's an awful lot of military vehicles in that. So I decided, let's lean into this and combine two parts of my hobby, the gaming and my model making hobby and interest. So I've started making some dioramas of vehicles from Escape from Tarkov, and I decided after watching an awful lot of scale modelling videos that I wanted to start doing some World War II armour. I'm a history teacher, so it seemed like the natural descent into madness that this was going to take. So first impressions of the kit, having a look through the box and having a look through the instructions, was being that this is my first ever Trumpeter kit. I was really glad that they had plastic tracks, because the rubberized tracks are naff and they never stick together properly and they look a little bit crappy. One thing I did notice was this fair few injection marks on certain bits, which I knew that I needed to fill in, and fair few bits and pieces that I needed to sort out in terms of that. And there's an awful lot of random bits of flash. I don't know what happened with the casting process, but it seems like certain parts of it, even parts literally next to each other on the same sprue, one of them was really, really good quality and the other ones were a little bit rough. I don't know whether that's the case with a lot of Trumpeter kits or whether I had a bit of a dodgy kit. I'm not too sure, but anyway, I'm not really going to teach people on YouTube when there's a vast amount of people how to put a kit together, but this is basically a supercut of me putting the kit together, and I'll talk through some of the issues that I found. So yeah, after some basic cleanup using a couple of sanding sticks, well worth getting if you haven't got them. You can pick them up on Amazon and what have you. You get bags of them and they last forever with various different grits. The side plates to mount the tracks onto the body to give the detail do not want to stick and pin. I was missing some points that they should have bonded into, which is a reoccurring theme with this kit. Holes where holes should have been weren't there, so I had to make a fair few edits and had to kind of line things up as I went, because there weren't the pinpoints and what have you. It's not a problem, I've done it before, but it's just a bit frustrating when you're reading through an instruction manual and you're going, right, I need to put this here, and there wasn't the hole to place it in. I ended up having to basically elastic band the side panels onto the hull to allow it to bond, and even then it didn't. I do later on go through and kind of fill in some gaps with some Tamiya putty when I'm doing armour texturing. One thing I was considering doing with this model was adding in some weld beads. There are some of the kit that are fairly well detailed, but I wanted to try it, and I will try it on my next kit because it's something I've never done before. But I was concerned that the board joins between some of the parts of the kit were going to make it very difficult for me to scribe those out and get those done well without basically parts just falling off and me having to re-glue them. So I decided not to do that on this kit. After a lot of cleanup, fair bit of swearing, a lot of elastic bands, probably far too much glue for my brain, I then move on to adding some texture to some of the panels. So I use some images as reference. Now the tracks. I've never put scale model tracks together before that aren't made by Games Workshop. Even the old Games Workshop kits, which were fiddly and difficult, were easier than this. I don't know whether this is a Trumpeter thing or if this is a scale model track thing, but my god. The first track took me 2 hours to build. And this isn't a metal set. This is the set that came out of the kit. It's far less of the literally put single links together metal kits that I've seen that you can get. Jesus Christ. Honestly, this is probably me, but my brain was melting trying to put these together. I know I made it more difficult because I wanted to make them so they were removable, so I could spray and paint the interior and paint the behind the tracks and the mechanisms easily. But Jesus Christ, it was honestly so difficult. I was swearing so much. I kept breaking bits. I was getting impatient. It was an absolute nightmare. Honestly, at one point, I kept looking over at those rubber tracks and I was like, I'll just staple them together. This is going to be far easier than anything that's going on right now. I just kept looking at them going, I could just use those and just, but no, I had to persevere and I finally got them and they look alright. But bloody hell, that was honestly one of the most taxing experiences of my life. Trying to do a relaxing hobby of an evening after a long day at work and then having to deal with that nightmare. Heinous. Absolutely heinous. I was looking at some pictures of some KV1s knocking around Stalingrad and saw this one. Now I know it isn't the exact turret. I made that mistake when I ordered it. I didn't realise it was the wrong turret. I wasn't really paying attention when I was ordering it. However, I'm going to use it as inspiration, and this is where I'm going to build the diorama. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I hope you've enjoyed this beginnings of descent into madness and scale model building. Next video is going to be me painting the tank. Don't have room for an airbrush at the moment. I need to get creative and build myself an airbrush booth. I just don't have the room as it is. So we're going to be doing a variety of stippling techniques to get different textures and what have you down for the tank. So yeah, thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Hope you enjoy it. The next video should be out soon, and I will catch you there. Peace.